Okabe stumbles through the desert, feeling like his time has run out. He starts talking to himself on the phone again, realizing his current situation is all part of the SteinsGate choice. He decides to keep wandering. 2 weeks earlier. Back at the lab, Okabe and Mayuri are hanging out when Daru walks in wearing a Luffy hat and a Hawaiian shirt. Okabe jokes about Daru wanting to join the Yakuza or go on a safari, but it turns out he's just getting ready for a trip to Los Angeles. Ferris invited the group to watch her in a Rynet competition, and Daru is all dressed up for the occasion. Mayuri gets a text from Kurisu saying she'll visit, but only if they have to bring Okabe. The group visits Mr. Braun, Nei, and Moika. Nei asks for a gift, and Moika awkwardly texts Okabe to avoid macadamia nuts, then asks for chocolate instead. Kurisu arrives, and when they check in at the airport, the officer asks why they're visiting. Okabe, not understanding, declares himself a mad scientist. The cops arrest him for being mentally unstable. After he escapes, Okabe sees Kurisu again and forgets to greet her, quickly brushing it off with a silly comment about thinking she was a spy. Kurisu rolls her eyes and tells everyone to get in the car, but Okabe insists on a taxi. Kurisu drives off, leaving Okabe to take a taxi and try to make her think he ran all the way there. She sees through his act. Ferris arrives and questions why Okabe canceled their hotel. He goes on a rant about being hunted by the organization and gets arrested again for his trouble. Okabe, Mayuri, and Daru crash at Kurisu's place, quickly making themselves at home in ways Kurisu doesn't like. Later, Okabe learns Kurisu has decided to leave the time travel research to him and admits she has no memories of other world lines, except the one they're in. Kurisu blushes when Okabe asks if she has any more substantial memories, but quickly changes the topic. Kurisu finds them a motel, but it's a dump. Okabe and Luca refuse to stay, joking that Norman Bates might be lurking. Kurisu insists they have no choice, so they end up bunking in weird pairings. Okabe and Daru, Mayuri and Luca, and Kurisu alone. Okabe and Daru start bickering and decide to do rock, paper, scissors to see who sleeps in the car. Okabe loses but finds Kurisu outside, and after some awkward silence, she invites him to talk inside. The next day at the Rynet tournament, Ferris wins big, while Daru cheers her on. Okabe sits in a cafe, and Kurisu reluctantly serves him food, having become a waitress to pay for their tickets. They argue, and Okabe tells her he's glad she's feeling better after last night, but insists they leave the memories from other world lines alone. Kurisu, looking sad, says those memories aren't real. Okabe steps outside for another soda and spots a girl who looks and sounds like Suzuha. He follows her, hoping time travel exists in this world line. But after talking to her, Okabe realizes she's not Suzuha, just a tourist. The girl talks about how a psychic once told her she'd marry and have a daughter in 7 years. Okabe realizes she's Daru's future wife and Suzuha's mom. After seeing her off, Okabe starts thinking about Suzuha and realizes he's stuck with only 67 cents and no phone charge. With no other choice, Okabe begins walking back. As night falls, he thinks about Kurisu and starts running, only to faceplant on the pavement. Thinking he's about to die, Okabe regrets not telling Kurisu about their past romance. Right then, Kurisu appears, worried about him. They both realize they're stuck in the desert because Kurisu forgot to fill the car with gas. Okabe explains why he left, and Kurisu is relieved, thinking he didn't leave because of her comment about the other world lines not being real. She asks about her dream memories and why one feels so real. Okabe guesses it's because that memory was real. He confesses his love again and asks how she feels. Kurisu, unsure of her feelings because she doesn't have the reading Steiner, says she's not sure. Okabe, explaining that the other world lines are real to him and she was always his constant, just wants to know how she feels in this world line. Standing up, Kurisu asks him to close his eyes, and with that, they complete the choice of SteinsGate.